Can I cook? Ready? All right, that's a bet. Techsgiving 2023. What's good? How y'all doing? Big shout out to Techsgiving, as well as Big for giving me the opportunity to speak before you today. I'm so grateful to be here. This is my first big talk in my city, right? So I'm finna cook. That's what they say. I'm finna cook. Is y'all ready? Okay. Before we jump into today's presentation, by the way, the title of today's presentation is called Cyber Hygiene. It will be facilitated by me, Dontae Tyler. But before we kick off today's presentation, I want to walk you through a visualization exercise, right? So you could just close your eyes for me 1 second and visualize with me, right? So that vacation that you've had planned on the calendar for months has finally arrived, right? It's Friday Eve, what I call Thursday, and you can't wait to send that out of office message and let them folks know you get done, right? You got your vacation booked, you get to the airport, you get your adult beverage, right? You jump on your flight, right? If you anything like me, you got the Uber black truck waiting for you when you get to the airport. Get to your Uber black truck, he takes you to your hotel, open your eyes. Next slide, my clicker's not working. Go back one. This not going. Oh man, go back. Having technical difficulties already. One slide, there we go. This is your view. You're ready to go poolside and enjoy yourself, right? But you walk up, to your surprise, you see hundreds of people in line, right? You're wondering what's going on. You stand in line for several hours. You finally get to the front, and the front desk associate tells you that the systems are down and that they manually have to check people into rooms, right? It caused a huge inconvenience. Well, this recently happened, if you don't know, to MGM Grand and Resorts, which crippled not only their IT systems, but as well as their business processes. Next slide for me. Hi, my name is Dontae Tyler, CEO and founder of Only Quality People Solutions. We are a certified minority business based out of the District of Columbia. And my niche areas in cybersecurity are governance, risk and compliance, data privacy protection, and security awareness training and education. I've been in IT for a decade now, with the last 6 years focused in cybersecurity, and as well as I'm also a published author. And I'm a proud member of BIC. Lit like BIC? Oh, we ain't got no big people in here, huh? Not yet, okay. So I come from a non-traditional tech background. I actually dropped out of community college after my basketball career ended, and I pivoted into tech, right? It started out as a way to get money, right? I went from working at Harris Teeter making $7.50 to working on the help desk making $22 an hour, and I never looked back, right? That was 8 years ago. So enough about me, right? What I would like for you to do is, can you say everybody? I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, and I want you to say everybody, okay? 1, 2, 3. Everybody. Where's my DMV folks in here? I need the right? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Everybody. There we go, next slide. So cybersecurity is everybody problem, right? At OQP, we put the emphasis on everybody because we want you to understand the significance of cybersecurity. It's no longer just the IT department's problem. It's no longer just, hey, the cyber guy, right? It's everybody's problem due to the adoption and influx of technology in our everyday processes and lives. Would you agree? Yes. So, transitioning to my next slide, I would like to talk to you about why you're here today, right? The purpose of today's presentation is to help users and small business owners. Do we have any small business owners in here? Raise your hand. Okay, we got a couple in here. I want to help you increase your cyber IQ so that you can reduce your risk to acceptable levels. I'm going to take you through a process where we're going to learn about what cyber hygiene is. We're going to learn about what security readiness is. I'm going to walk you through some recent attacks and poor effects of negative hygiene, cyber hygiene. And then I'm also going to highlight some mitigation techniques that you can take back home today. As a matter of fact, while you're still at the conference, and implement them into your everyday life. The payoff, my hope is that when you leave this workshop today, you are empowered to take your cyber hygiene more serious. And your cyber IQ will be increased. Ben Franklin said, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn." Y'all ready to get involved and learn? Let me hear you say cyber hygiene. Cyber hygiene. Come on, man. I need y'all to wake up, man. Come on, man. There we go. So does anybody in here know what an IRP is, an incident response plan? What's an incident response plan?
It's a way to act in case of an incident.
Okay, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. You got yourself 20% off H&M right there. There you go. If you do not have a camera cover on your laptop, raise your hand. So before you leave today's workshop, I want you to come up to this front desk and grab an OQP camera cover to put on your laptop, okay? All right, next slide. So what comes to your mind when you hear the word cyber hygiene? This is the involved part, right? Where you don't need to raise your hand, shout it out if you need to, right? I only got 30 minutes, so we gotta push through this so I can get to the good stuff. So what comes to your mind when you hear cyber hygiene? I like those answers. It sounds like we got some good cyber hygienists in here. Next slide. So I didn't invent the word cyber hygiene, but I'm coining it as mine, right? So cyber hygiene is the daily proactive countermeasures to reduce your risk to acceptable levels. Well, what does that mean, right? What that means is reducing your attack surface, right? So that you are not exposed to vulnerabilities and threats that exist online, right? So now that you know the definition of cyber hygiene, let's look at some dirty cyber hygiene facts. Next slide. Look at this first statistic. 95% of cybersecurity breaches are caused by human error, right? And this was reported by Verizon.com. Look at this bottom statistic. Reported is the key word in this one. Reported losses of scams and social media hit a staggering $2.7 billion, not million, $2.7 billion reported by the FTC. As a security professional, it's very alarming to read these statistics. It lets me know as a security professional, we are failing the most common denominator in every system, the user, right? We're failing you, right? We're giving you smart devices with no real training, right? It's just go, 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 right? And then we wonder why there's an influx of cyber breaches, right? So next slide, imagine this. We have any social media influencers in here? Okay, any small businesses or anybody who makes money from social media? Okay, we do, all right? So imagine this, you have 20,000 followers, you're making a few $1,000s a week from your social media, because I know people that they do very well from social media. Let's say you wake up one day, you log into your Instagram, and you're logged out. All right, you logged out. It's very strange to you. So you attempt to log back in, but you have the wrong password. You think this is very strange. You're thinking maybe I'm fat fingering it, jump on your laptop. You can't access your Instagram. What do you do? Does anybody in here have any idea what do they do?
Yeah, reach out to Instagram and follow for all that foolishness.
That's going to take a process, right? So if you have customers that are wanting to purchase your services, purchase your products, it cripples your business, right? So I want you to start thinking about cyber hygiene and its importance to your life, right? How it could really cause a huge inconvenience, right? So transitioning to my next slide, I want you to consider why you may be a target for cyber criminals. Well, number one, Limited IT resources and expertise is probably the number one, right? Most times people just don't know, or in some businesses I've seen, they just don't care, right? More oftentimes than not, ignorance often leads to cyber breaches, right? Leaving a default password, leaving a default username. These all lead to easily exploitable security weaknesses. I'm gonna tell you, hackers are really lazy. I'm one of them. I'm telling you, they go for the low-hanging fruit. That's all that they're looking for. They do not like sophistication. Even that MGM attack, I thought it was sophisticated. 13-year-old kids on the phone. It's called social engineering. The psychological effects of social engineering. Another major reason why you're a target for cyber criminals is the data. People don't understand that data is the new gold. I'm gonna give you a very quick story on data is being the new gold, right? So you guys know Amazon, right? Yep. Right? You know Amazon purchased Roomba, that vacuum that goes in your house that is automated? Well, Roomba actually takes a GPS of your home. So it knows that there's a table right here, there's a light right here. You know Amazon purchased them because Roomba is, I forget the percentage, but they're in over like 50% of houses in America. What do you think Bezos is gonna do with that data? He's gonna aggregate it, he's gonna make correlations, and now he knows that the average size table in an American home is this size. So we need to make tables or things to go in houses this big. Gonna sell it to you. Do you understand how we just took data and made money? Do you get that? Right? Another major reason why you're a target is the lack of robust security measures. With the adoption of AI, right, as well as microprocessors, a processor is in a computer that makes it process things faster, we need security automation. There are only but so many mitigation strategies as a user I can give you. You can't beat a computer. And then this next chipset that's gonna come out in the next couple of years, you can forget it, right? The automation is gonna be there. Next slide. So the bottom line is the sheer amount of data that's transmitted on a user's device or a business system makes it worthwhile for a cyber criminal. Crime pays. Crime pays. Next slide. So here I wanted to highlight some effects of poor cyber hygiene. The first one is inconvenience. I have a buddy of mine, he has a camera in his refrigerator. This dude is at the supermarket, goes over the Wi-Fi to his refrigerator to look to see if he needs milk. How convenient is that, right? Well, imagine if you don't have that convenience. Any of us have those smart locks on our house, right? With the keypad, you can unlock and let your friends in. What if you can't, right? Convenience, technology gives us convenience. Another major effect that businesses or users don't take into account is the remediation after effects after you suffer a cyber attack. How do we get back to normal operating levels? Sometimes that takes weeks, months, even years to get back to that normal operating level. The loss of customer confidence is another huge one. People do business with people that they know, people that they like, and people that they trust. So if you're a small business owner and you're negligent with people's data, I don't trust you. I don't want to do business with you. I'm not doing business with you. So that brings your revenue down. The loss, well, go back. The loss of revenue from those customers and regulatory fines could close your business's doors. Next slide. In my next slide, I wanted to depict or highlight the cost of a cyber attack, right? We pulled this data from IBM's cost data breach. This is average, right? Every company is different, right? Based on size, number of assets, people, processes, right? But this is just an average number. Look at this, $4 million. I couldn't believe it until we did a breakdown. I said, oh my. Look at this, 1.2 million alone is on incident response. Just responding to the incident, crisis management. Most times you have to call a specialist in because you don't do recovery. That's a special team, right? That does forensics, 1.2 million alone. I don't know about you, but my doors is closed right here. They closed. We filing bankruptcy and everything right here, right? I've also went into businesses, because I've been preaching cyber hygiene for the past 5 years. I've had a business owner of a business that's doing very well tell me, Dontae, we like your services, we like you, but we're not paying. That's what we got insurance for. What that's called is risk transferring, right? He's transferring the risk to his insurance company. Well, go look at insurance premiums, cyber insurance premiums in the last 2 years. Guarantee skyrocketed up 200%. Why? Because cyber criminals, some of them are fairly smart. They will literally target you because I know you have $1 million policy for ransomware. I'm going to encrypt your data. I know you're going to call the insurance company. They're going to pay me the money, and now we got $1 million. That's how it worked, right? So we wanted to depict, the cost of a data breach. Next slide. So here's some common threats faced with individuals and business owners. Where am I at on time? How much time I got? Anybody know? Okay, that's good. Individuals, right? So here's some common threats. The top threat, I believe, for anyone surfing the internet is social engineering. I mean, people really don't understand the psychological effects of social engineering. I mean, you could call somebody on the phone. You could physically go to the location, right? Befriend the front desk girl, right? Go in there with a ladder. Just walk in with a ladder. Just walk in with a ladder. No one's gonna stop you. I guarantee no one stops anyone with a ladder, right? He going to the telecom closet, right, to tap into your infrastructure, right? Social engineering, the definition of social engineering is using the psychological effect to deceive somebody. That looks different, right? We got phishing, which is another threat, right? Which is through an email, right? Someone's trying to deceive you through email. We also have vishing, V-I-S-H-I-N-G, right? Voicemail. Microsoft has an AI. It hears your voice for 3 seconds. It can mimic you. Think about how dangerous that is, right? Someone's calling you on the phone. This sounds like Dontae. No, it's not, right? Identity theft is a major one, right? As we're getting older, I have to adult now. So I'm seeing, I go to the bank, they asking me to furnish documents. Well, what if you go to the bank, you've been working hard to get this house you've been saving for, right? This 20% down, and they tell you, you can't do it because you got some stuff on your credit, and you look on there and there's transactions you've never seen before, right? That could cause a huge inconvenience to your life. Imagine if you have kids, right? There's a story about a Las Vegas school system recently was hit with a cyber attack, and the cyber criminals sent messages to the parents for ransomware, telling them, hey, if you don't pay us, we're going to release the data of your kid on the internet. Think about how dangerous that is, right? Business owners, the top threat I consider is ransomware. Ransomware is when your data is encrypted, right? Someone compromises your system, encrypts all the data. Encryption means it's unreadable by anybody in here. We can't read it, right? They take the plain text. This will be considered plain text. We can read it, and they turn it into ciphertext. We can't read it, right? Data breaches is another one, right? That's another common threat amongst business owners that is huge, right? The negligence of people's data. Most times, and I'll get into this in my mitigation strategies about how companies need to understand where their data is, right? Have good asset inventory. Supply chain attacks is another huge one. Me being in the DoD space, I personally know this because I've been an ISM, right? Information Security Manager supporting Defense Logistics Agency, and I overseen the research and development branch where all I will be focused on is where that vendor got his stuff from. Where did they get it from, right? Because there are a lot of resellers out here. All they do is get something and then resell it. Well, who made it? Who put those components together? When the last time was it scanned? Who has access to it? Hi, I'm Dontae. Those are me. That's me. I ask those tough questions, right? Next slide. So now we're going to move over to actually why you're here, right? Some mitigation techniques. We're going to try to get through these a little fast. Some of these, well, just the first one, is for the regular, everyday user, right? So I'm gonna go over cookies, I'm gonna go over multi-factor authentication, then we're gonna move over to software development lifecycle, right, which is a little bit more tech savvy. Hope I got some devs in here. I'm gonna go over BAC, DOD, definition of done. I'm gonna go through some security automation tools, as well as I'm gonna move down for number 3, go over some mitigation techniques for small businesses. Then we're gonna wrap up with some recovery stuff to get you out of here. Next slide. So on this first slide, here's a video of me doing a screen record on Google Chrome. How many of you accept cookies and don't know what cookies are? Raise your hand high. Raise it high. Raise it high. Don't feel bad. No, not the cookies in the cookie jar, right? So your cookies is a history of where you've been at online, if you don't know, right? So when you're accepting cookies, you're allowing that website to track you, right? So one of the first places that an attacker goes to, once he does a cross-site scripting attack or gets you to click a link, he going to the cookies folder. Why? The cookies folder is not only going to give you a history of where you've been at, but it's going to have your username and your password. If you check remember me, raise your hand. Raise it high, come on. Stop right now, right? So here's a screen record on me on Google, actually going to the Google Chrome browser. You're gonna go to the top right-hand corner where the X is. You're gonna hit those 3 dots. That's gonna drop down. You're gonna click history, right? That's gonna open up another pane, right? You're gonna do, I think it's privacy and settings. Once you click privacy and settings, this box is gonna pop up. You're gonna click clear browsing history. You can choose to clear the browser history for the last couple of hours, weeks, or all time, right? I suggest all time, but that's just me. Before you do that, when you do this, you are going to delete all of your history as well as any website that you've authenticated to. So any website that you go to now and you automatically log in, that will not be the case anymore. You will have to re-authenticate to all of those sites. Next slide. Here's a video of MFA. If you don't have MFA on your phone or on your any accounts, please download it right now. If you don't do anything else, go download Google Authenticator, multi-factor Microsoft Authenticator, and set it up on your phone. What it does is it adds a layer of protection to your account. Traditionally, when you go to an account, you type a username, you type a password, and upon you having the correct credentials, you're let into the account. What MFA does is offers 2 authentication methods. So not only do you need the username, password, but then you need a special code to get in, right? Next slide. If you don't want to do the cookies, right? If you constantly clearing your cookies, Dontae, this is annoying. 2 things you can do. A, I would suggest go get the DuckDuckGo browser, right? Which is a privacy-enabled browser similar to Google, right? Blocks all third-party sites. However, if the site has advanced analytics, you're not going to be able to block them, right? The second one, incognito. You can open an incognito browser on Google Chrome by going to that top right-hand corner, click the 3 dots, go down 3 or 4 tabs, you'll see open incognito browser. It will block majority of third-party sites, right? You'll be able to surf the internet without ads, right? Popping up on you every time you look for something. Next slide. So this is for my DevOps folks. It's a little bit more technical, so you kind of need to know some prerequisites. When I talk to the Techsgiving folks, they say, hey, Dontae, don't create stuff that you can find easily on the internet. I said, great, I got some stuff, so I'm cooking, right? So if you don't know what SDLC is, software development lifecycle, right? Most times when software is created, it's a lifecycle to it. So a dev engineer, right? So what you're looking at on these screenshots are screenshots of Jira, right? Jira is a ticket repository that we use to manage our work, right? So as a security engineer and security manager, one of my jobs is to help create basic security functional requirements for that piece of software, right? Called BAC, Basic Acceptance Criteria, right? It's simple. It lets the developer know what are the minimum requirements for you to fix this feature. And it must meet this, right? So most times, a developer is just trying to fix the problem, right? He's not really focused on, if I fix this, what does it break? And if I fix that, then what did it break again, right? So BAC helps him arrive. It gives accuracy, right? Documentation, and it's verifiable, right? DOD, definition of done. A developer needs to understand what a definition of done is. Next slide, I gotta get to the meat and potatoes. Next slide. They're saying I gotta go. This is just a quick screen. This is a screen of tools that devs should use to help conduct scanning of their code. Code review, right? We got STAT, right? Security application testing. This scans code when code is at rest, right? Looking for errors in the comments. This is DATS, right? Dynamic application security testing. This scans your code when it's executing, right? Looking for fuzzing, looking for SQL injection, right? Known vulnerabilities. And as well as vulnerability scanning. We have to do vulnerability scanning, right? So all these tools I've worked with them. Next slide. For my small business owners, these are some administrative defense and depth things that you must have. They're just basic. An acceptable use policy. This lets your employees know what's acceptable, right? When they're using that employee device, don't get on Facebook. Don't surf this. Don't log into this. And they need to sign it, right? So that they understand the importance. A notification usage banner. You'd be surprised how many companies don't have this. You have a system that has PII and you're not letting the users who are using it know that this system got PII in it. You already violated HIPAA right there, right? You're going to jail, right? I want you to know that, right? So another thing, companies don't have a report button. So they'll do all of these great things. They'll adopt technology. They'll be blocking all of these attacks and some stuff will get through, but they don't have a report button. Think about that. I have no way to say, hey, suspicious activity. Well, you can't hit what you can't measure, right? Right? So we report. So I highly encourage small business owners to have that report button. Next slide. This is the meat and potatoes. This is a little bit savvy. So this is a screenshot of a router, right? A home router, right? Two things, the mitigation strategy, right? Network segmentation is the first one, right? This is the last one. Network segmentation is the first one. You want to segment your network. You want to have a main network for you and your devices, and then you want to have a guest network that everybody else logs into, right? What that does is create an air gap. So if this network is compromised, this one won't be compromised. What I'm highlighting or suggesting that you do in addition to network segmentation is called enabling MAC filtering, right? Media access control. Every device that's ever created gets a MAC address. It's a unique identifier for that device. What you can do on your home router on your main network is enable MAC filtering. It will only allow devices that have that approved MAC to get onto your network. So if you're able to look, you know how you can look on your Wi-Fi and see who's on there? If you see 5 devices, but you only authorize 3, something wrong. That makes sense to everybody? Mm-hmm. Next slide. I'm out of here till they kick me out. Go again. Okay, okay, this is the last one. Can I just do this last one? Because this one is super important. If you didn't learn anything else, please scan this QR code. This is a website called Have I Been Pwned? You're going to go here, you're going to type your email address in. It's going to tell you if you've been in a data breach, right? So you got to come to the room next because they're kicking me out. But if you go on there and you see, this is my email address. I was in the MGM reported. I was also in StockX, right? My email address, my personal information. If you were in these attacks, you should come to the next room because the next slide, even though they're kicking me out, depicts what you need to do. It's an incident response plan. I'm telling you. But no, thank you for your time. I wish I had more time because I had a couple more slides. So thank you. I appreciate you.